Good morning, and it is the 20th of February 2023. The temperature this morning started off at 6, it's now reached 8, and it's going to reach 9, so it's almost to its maximum already by 10 or 11 this morning. The news, as you can see, is all in the newspapers is all about Nicola Bully, because essentially a body has been found. So far, no positive identification, but if the police are releasing the fact that a body has been found, then you can almost guarantee that it is the body of Nicola. Good morning. I'm broadcasting from home this morning. That's why the background is different. Some urgent, pressing matters kept me here as opposed to going to the White Hart. I got Cliff Ayres out of bed to tell him that I wouldn't be in. God bless him. But here we are anyway. And the hope is that it's not Nicola, but I'm pretty damn sure. Perhaps one of the things that I am a bit bemused about is why there has been such a hue and cry over this lady. Don't misunderstand. I'm very sympathetic to the family. You know, any of this stuff is hurtful, and there is no question that that they would want to be looked after. But in fact, one or two journalists were uneasy about the way that this has been handled, and that the analysis of her private life, possible alcohol abuse or emotional stress or whatever, has been paraded in the press when journalists had nothing more to write about. And I think that that's absolutely right and proper. And until some formal statement is made about the cause of death, or even if it is Nicola's body, because the unfortunate thing is about our modern society is that people go missing and aren't reported for months. And but this lady seems to have hit the headlines. I mean, we have missing people coming out of the Sussex police on a regular basis, day after day after day. And it doesn't cause a stir, not one little stir. It does not. It's not a very good light, is it? I don't know why. It looked perfectly all right earlier. But so why have we got so excited about this lady? I really don't quite understand, unless there is something lurking in the background. Perhaps she's MI5 or something of the sort, which we would not be told immediately. So that's a mystery. That's a mystery. One or two bits and pieces elsewhere. I'll just run through newspapers and see if I can pick out one or two and now that doesn't seem to me to be. Oh yes, okay. The Guardian. It goes with the headline and a picture of Nicola, and says the body is found in the search for Nicola bully, but at the top of its page, it has got top scientists issue a stark warning on shattered healthcare workers. I mean, basically, what they're saying, I think, is that they've just been working overtime and under great stress. Although with the Guardian, you never know whether there's a hidden political agenda. But we'll see if we can take a look. Because we're poking, really, we're poking into the headlines and under the headlines, and sometimes ever since we had spin doctors, you never know what to believe anymore and what's not done on a political basis. But the healthcare workers are absolutely shattered. And unless something is done to address the crisis in morale, staffing, and training, they won't be there when you need them. One of the world's leading scientists warns today, speaking to The Guardian, Professor let's see, let's get his name right. Well, Farad, Professor Farad, the director of Wellcome Pharmaceuticals, I think, Wellcome, and soon to be chief scientist of the World Health Organization, is warning. Now, I'm sure that that's right, but I'm not sure that it's right that that should be headlined in this country, because I've been to hospital about 5 times in the last 2 months, partly for my eyes and partly for things to do with my Parkinson's. And I've found the staff to be in very good form and laughing and joking and teasing and really quite jolly. And I can't say that that should be taken as being the status quo, but by the same token, saying that they're almost at the edge of their and at end of their tether is a bit misleading in my view. So I think that we need to be very careful in listening to some of these people who sit in ivory towers and aren't on the front line. And basically, that's the trouble with our leaders today, is they are not on the front line. They make all these protestations and they come to all these conclusions. It's not being on the workplace or in the workforce. So they are easily subject to propaganda, bias reporting, incomplete reports. So we have to be very careful. Now, even the Daily Star, well, it is still gone. Nicola, a body found a mile from the bench where her phone was found. But they actually have come up with something called the Brums Rush, and my lucky strike at a secret location. And their main story is that some Brummie, some Birmingham citizen, was digging for gold, and he's come up with a panful. he's made a small fortune. Oh dear! Good luck to him. The Express goes with Nicola. Body found near to where the phone it was found on the bench, and I think we just have to accept that this is going to be the theme all the way through the papers. I mean, it's a stark headline this morning. It's stark headlines because it is simple. A body has been found or has been seen. Is it Nicola or is it not? It's in the right area. It's not far from that where the last signs of her have been evident. And the son says, Nicola, it's heartbreak. And she's saying it's anguish for her family. And quite right. The Telegraph reports that two walkers alerted police to a body on the bank of the River Wye during the search for a missing woman, Nicola Bully. And the Daily Telegraph is exactly the same. Body found in the search for missing Nicola. A couple of the other stories carried by the Daily Telegraph, things which have been hogging the headlines recently, and they really are to do with once again Brexit or not Brexit. Sunak pauses the protocol deal over a backlash from Tories and the DUP. On the weekend, there was a headline in one of the papers that said that Boris has now taken up the sword against Sunak. Wouldn't you expect the infighting to get going? I mean, it really is a poison chalice being prime minister at the moment. There are a lot of people who aspired to be prime minister have been there, got burned, where they've gone, and they should have learned their lesson. Don't try a second time. Boris isn't usual, and Sunak was arrogant enough to think that he was going to get away without any problems. But here it is the Northern Ireland Protocol, and that really is all about where the border should be established between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, one being part of the United Kingdom and the other being part of Europe. Seems to me simple. You just draw a line. That's what Churchill and the Stalin and Roosevelt did at the end of the last war. Is they simply carved up Berlin. It didn't make any sense. They carved it up, and it stayed there until 1980. And you could get onto the metro in Berlin and go through stations where the train didn't stop because you were actually in East Germany, and there was no way that you could get out and go up into the into communist Europe. Missing Nicola is missing Nicola is in the Mirror. The family's worst fear. They have no real sub story on the front page. It is all about Nicola, and let's be, unless anything has happened in the last half an hour or so, let's be clear that it's only a body that's been found. They have not necessarily identified it as being the missing lady. I suppose really it's the family are hoping like hell that it's not. But at this stage, probably is a very thin a bit of faith that they're on. At the Times, the body found a mile from where Bully vanished. Interesting that they revert to the old way of describing people, Bully. As my late good friend, because now he's gone to the great newsroom in the sky, Bob Elphick, who was a famous BBC reporter, reported on the Prague Spring and many other key things during the Cold War from Moscow. But he said when he first joined the BBC, is the letters or memos to him would start off, "Dear Elphick." I said, and then it eased a little bit, "Dear Mr. Elphick." And he said in the latter days it was "Dear Bob." So a change in how we address each other, and a change, I suppose, in attitudes and in courtesy, really. Um, right, the Times does say Sunak ready to defy DUP over Brexit trade deal, but those are two, you see, different angles. The fact is that that we one lot say that he's ready to, well, he's going to pause things because he's worried about the rebellion of his backbenchers, and somebody else is that he's ready to defy. So which is it? Your guess is as good as mine. And it's, dear. They keep getting their knickers into such a twist, do they not? The Daily Mail, the missing Nicola, the body found less than a mile from where she vanished. Well, at least it is true, but the implication is there that it's her. And it again only has a picture of the Princess of Wales at the BAFTAs, and that she is wearing opera gloves. In other words, gloves that extend all the way up to the armpits. Yeah. Well, you know the trivia that we get so excited about. The Eye reports that the body found in the River Wye on Sunday was less than half a mile. Okay, so we cut down the distance from where missing woman Nicola Bully was last seen. Police find body in the river near where Nicola Bully went missing. There is a picture of an aircraft carrier on the front page. Is weapons shortages mean UK's lead warship isn't fully armed? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This is a good job it isn't the Falklands all over again. Right, okay, now this is where Financial Times, because they actually go back to the war. Poland calls for NATO to guarantee Ukraine's security after the end of the war. Poland is taking a much greater leading role in European matters, and of course, we've forgotten that the Poles really were real leaders in gaining membership into the European Union. They were told quite flatly by the European Union, "You've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to do the other." And I actually went to report on how they were handling their economy and trying hard to make themselves appropriate for European Union membership, and it was very impressive, and they were getting on with it. And of course, much to Brussels' dismay, they actually met the criteria because Brussels didn't really want them in. The EU is a private club. By golly, it's us that decide who comes in. So they set all these things, and it's who can tell what on earth is going on? We really can't. But anyway, Poland wants NATO to guarantee Ukraine's security after the end of the war. And of course, the people who are reluctant, the same people who are reluctant to let Poland into the EU, Germany, France, to some extent ourselves. Here is the metro. We go back to Nicola again. Nicola's body is found, says the metro. This is a straightforward story. One of the, I suppose, as the morning progresses. So, if we are continuing with this interest in this lady, I'm going to say young lady. Well, in my terms, if she is a young lady, um, I'm I'm that old, but there she is, and I suppose that there'll be a confirmation sooner or later. Let's just take a look at the local news. Here's the latest. The medieval festival hidden inside a West Sussex castle. Read more, it says. Well, do we want to know about that? Probably. Or at least some people do. It's Arundel Castle. And it is one of the things about Arundel is that for the longest while it was held by the royalists in the English Civil War. And that's where they set out to actually come and take Lewis. And they were stopped at Hayward's Heath, of all things. So in 15 something or other, there was a battle between royalists and Cromwellians, or I suppose we could say Republicans, at Hayward's Heath. And the Republicans won, thus preventing the royalists hold up in Arundel Castle from taking Lewis, which in those days, of course, remember that Brighton was non-existent to all intents and purposes, a little village, and there was nothing much else between until Hastings. And so Lewis was a key town in those days. And so it was essential that the royalists took it so they could control East Sussex, and they failed. They got turned back at Hayward's Heath. Unassuming slab celebrating the boy who rid Sussex village of a dragon. Oh, that sounds interesting, doesn't it? Yes, that takes us away from some of the nonsense. Is he rid West Sussex village of a fearsome dragon, and is tucked away in the corner of West Sussex church lies an unassuming slab with an incredible story. Like many other village churches in Sussex, St Mary's Magdalene is in Lyminster, is an example of a beautiful architecture, and it's situated in a peaceful setting near the River Arun, surrounded by greenery and countryside views. But despite the idyllic atmosphere on show, the slab is the church's corner suggests that it has now not always been so. The Dragon Slayer and the medieval gravestone can be found next to the church font. And the Atlas Obscure, it celebrates the story of a local dragon slayer who rid the village of the fearsome dragon, the Knucker of Lyminster. So, well, here we are. That'll be interesting to see that. There's not much news there, though, I have to say. Let's see if we can. No, in fact, from yesterday, Lord of the Bins Company told to change its branding. Yeah, I rather like this story. The waste company in Brighton is called itself Lord of the Bins, and the silly business of well, it's not silly, I suppose. It's copyright. The company were told to remove the name because the Middle Earth Enterprise has applied for a trademark application for the company name. Oh dear, dear, dear. And these are just two hard-working guys who really got the thing going. All info released by police as Michael Croak's sister-in-law search continues. There we are. You see, there's another missing person that we are not getting excited about. Let's see. There's not much else really. It's happened this morning or recently. He said, which means that probably something is happening as I speak. Right, it's okay. It's 8:59, and I'll take a half-hour break, and then we'll be back with some hopefully interesting stuff for you. For the moment, this is Keith Hayes, and I am at home today, which is right on the edge towards Falmer of Lewis, and I normally at the White Hart Hotel, but for various reasons I can't be there today. So we're going to say a toodle pip once again. The weather is a high of 9. It's currently 8. A moderate breeze and a patchy cloud. Yeah, the cloud is a bit thicker than forecast, but it's early in the day. Okie dokie, we'll say a toodle pip, and we'll rejoin you at 9:30. Hopefully with some interesting facts and figures. Toodles.